Hey, Flo here with another IRL, number 4 of the day. Maybe the last one, maybe second to last one, I don't know. We'll just see how much time I have left after this and if I still have any energy. I'm actually getting some overcast, or at least sun behind the clouds for a minute, so that's kind of giving me some new energy feels. Let's see. Okay, I'm almost ready. I don't think I'm going to take my chair again this time. So I'm actually at a new place, I think. I mean, as far as I remember, I've never been here. I'm not sure it's all that impressive or anything. I don't know nothing about it. It's not marked on my map as a place I've been, so might be new. Okay, let's get my camera on here just a second. Signal here is ridiculously good though, so I mean, if it holds up, it'll be a nice clean stream. Okay, so yeah, I'm just in the middle of nowhere with a new place to explore. Like I said, I don't know if I've been here before or not. It's possible I did, and I just haven't marked it on my map yet, but I haven't been here recently. I can definitely say that for sure, because I have kind of a new way of marking things where I still mess it up, but I'm pretty consistent. So I'm not sure this is actually going up this thing, so I'll need to check my GPS every once in a while to make sure I'm going in the right direction. I might just have to bushwhack up to the top if this doesn't actually go up. But just judging by the fact that it's going uphill, I feel pretty good about it. Might actually get up to the top of this thing. I'll try it. Whew. There's a lot of I don't know what to call them, off-road vehicle trails here. I don't know the acronyms very well. It seems like OHV is one of those acronyms that they use for this kind of stuff. I don't even know what that stands for. Off-road something vehicle, I don't know. Okay. Well, we are going uphill, so I think there's a good chance this is actually going to go up this hill or butte, whatever it's called, I don't know. Most of these places that I go don't have names. Some of them do, but they're very obscure. Most people don't really know. Well, I shouldn't say no. Most people don't know the names. I don't know. Maybe there's local names for these that don't make it on the map or something. I wish I had access to all the most complete lists of names of things. So I'd love to mark them on my map so I know which places I've been and make sure I give them names if they have them. So the speed test, I always do a speed test before every stream to see if I can even stream at a particular location. The download speed here was 112 megabits. It's crazy. You could like stream 4K movies, like several at the same time. And the upload speed was something like 30 or something. It's like way faster than I need for streaming, but it doesn't always mean anything because even though that I have access to that speed, supposedly, I don't feel like the app that I use actually fully utilizes the speed that I have, but it's just kind of unreliable cell technology. Be amazing someday if they either perfect cell technology to be better for rural areas or out in the middle of the forest like I am, or some kind of satellite or other technology so we can go like everywhere and live stream and stuff. It's kind of I feel like it's not a very lucrative thing for companies to try to offer internet to random places on the map because there's just no customers out here, obviously. So they'd have to invest millions of dollars to try to fill in every gap on the map. And I'm not sure they'd get anything back for it, so it's not really in their best interest. Unless it's a pride thing where it's like, oh, we gotta cover the whole map, or some kind of control thing like the government wants to know where everybody's at all times. That's probably more likely if they try to offer service everywhere. It's probably more related to that. But it's also good for people that get lost, rescue efforts and things like that. If you have a good cell connection everywhere you are, then there's a good chance you can call somebody for a rescue or whatever. Oh, this is a nice trail. I'm actually going on a trail. Imagine that. I think I've gone on trails for every single outing today, which is highly unusual. Usually bushwhacking. But I'm not complaining. I like trails. I mean, if they exist, I use them. I don't just purposely walk through that junk just to make it more challenging. I always take the path of least resistance, whether it's a trail like this or an old overgrown logging road, or just, weaving in and out between bushes. I don't necessarily take the most direct path. I'll just go in and out around different things, looking for the best way. So if there's a trail, I'll use it. And like I said earlier, this area seems to be kind of almost feels like it's built for OHV or off-road, whatever use. It's kind of a weird tree. It's like an elephant or octopus or something. Oh. Take a break here and get a picture of that. It's kind of cool. Whew. I need to really fine-tune the settings on my new Moto phone. It has a bunch of annoying things on it. The lock screen, you can like essentially unlock it accidentally and goes into this really stupid app that's essentially spam. A bunch of news and advertisements and exactly the things that I don't want to look at. And all it takes is like swiping, and it's like, oh, yay, I go into whatever that junk is. Okay, I think there's probably a way to turn that off, though. Well, at this moment, if I'm actually going up the hill that I'm intending to, it feels pretty gradual, like compared to the ones I've done earlier today. It's quite relaxing. I mean, it is still significantly uphill. I'm getting tired, but compared to everything I've done, it's the easiest one so far. That last one by the cell towers was pretty easy too, just because I drove the majority of the way up to the top and it wasn't bad. Oh, still got a great signal. This is awesome. Love it. I hope it stays that way the whole hike. That'd be great. All it takes is going around the wrong kind of corner where the cell tower can't see you, and then it just instantly degrades. It's interesting though, like I don't know much about cell technology, but I was literally standing right by the tower in the last stream. And it had a fine signal, but it wasn't nearly as good as what I have right now. It's almost like you have to be in the line of direct fire, and if you're like standing right underneath the tower, it might not actually be pointing down where you're standing, which kind of makes sense. But anyway, it's interesting. I'm just making stuff up. I don't actually know if that's true. So I need to check the map soon because I want to make totally certain that I'm going up the right butte. That's a weird thing. I don't know if that's something that came off of somebody's car or if that's like an actual fungus of some sort. It's weird. I don't think there's actually any cars that come up here per se. It's more like four-wheelers. I don't really know what the going term for those is. I just call them four-wheelers. Razor type things or dune buggies. I don't know. There's probably a better term for those. And then dirt bikes. This trail, I would almost bet on it that only dirt bikes come up here because you can just see the one pretty narrow path there. I don't think even a four-wheel thing would be coming through here. And I did actually see a couple people on dirt bikes on the way back from 2 hikes ago, I think. So they're definitely around here. And as I was driving over to this place, I crossed Tons of really narrow paths, just like this one, except even more narrow. So it must be kind of set up for that. As far as I know, it's not like a recreational area though, where it's maintained or anything, or like, you know, part of the park system. I mean, we're talking about being out in the middle of nowhere. It's actually pretty hard to get out here. You have to have a decent vehicle. Yeah, there's like so many of these trails. And it's not close to any town really, so you'd have to like have it really in mind to make this trip out here. It's kind of weird because I know there's actually established, maintained off-road areas that are closer that don't take so much traveling to get to. But at the same time, I'd rather go out in the middle of nowhere, and there's probably a lot of people with off-road vehicles that feel exactly the same way. Starting to see a little bit through the trees. There's a mushroom. I don't know anything about mushrooms. I've never hunted mushrooms. I don't eat mushrooms. Nothing really. But there's one. It's like somebody already pulled it out, or it got stuck on somebody's vehicle. Who knows? Oh, here's a nice little clearing. You can totally like camp here if you want. Thing about like camping in this area, I mean, I would do it. I would camp, but I would not do a campfire out in these areas. They are so stinking dry out here, and there's no water sources in this area. There's no creeks, there's no lakes, anything that close to here. It's pretty dry, so man, if you don't bring a ton of water, like many gallons to douse the fire with, you're taking a huge risk starting a campfire out here, because no one is going to come out to see it or do anything about it. I wouldn't do it. Like I'm afraid of starting a fire by accident, so I would never take that kind of chance. Even when we call it here in Oregon, we call it dispersed camping. I think that's kind of a common term that everybody uses, but basically it just means not at an actual campground, but you just like find some forest roads, find a spot along the road that is wide enough for usually it's people in RVs that do it. They park their RV literally out in the middle of nowhere. No resources, no bathroom, no water, nothing. You know, some of the places that you can do that are close to a lake or river, so you have water, but like not often and not really. And it doesn't cost anything because it's not at an actual campground. You just go find a place. And I actually want to do some of that. I've never actually done it. I know of a ton of places where I can go, and so I'd like to try it sometime. I think an ant might have got in my pant leg. I feel something in there. I hope it's not a tick or something. So we're going back down, which concerns me because I want to make sure I go to the top of this, whatever this thing is that I'm on. So I'm going to check my map real quick because I maybe essentially already went past the summit if I'm going down, and I want to mark that on my map. So let me check that. The video will cut out for a minute, probably. Oh yeah, I did. That was a very mellow hill then. Yeah, I essentially already went to the summit. So I'm going to turn around and see if I can locate the summit. First time I go to any high place like this, I like to, just for fun, mark as close as I can approximate where I think the summit is. I just mark it on the map and then put a date on there saying I was here. That way I know which places I've explored. And I can check them off my list and keep looking for more places. Oh, cool. So this, I think right here, looks like the highest point right in those bushes. So I'll try to get over there without getting too heavy bushwhacking. But it also looks like there might be a view through the trees right over there. So let me check that out. If this isn't a view, it's not. It's been a pretty uneventful hill to climb. Nothing extraordinary. Still a nice, relaxing walk or hike or whatever, though. But I guess if there's no view, I can just do the Bible reading wherever, because all of my hikes today, I'm doing a short Bible reading with them since it's Sunday and I didn't go to church. Oh, for a second there, I thought I saw some rocks. I always like to explore boulders if I see them. I guess this is probably the closest I'm going to get to a view. Maybe right down here I'll go check this out just for fun. I feel like there's going to be a clearing through the trees right down here. Just my instincts tell me. It's not going to be wide open, but might see a little bit here. All right, so right there. Oh, that's cool. Check out that volcano way over there. Looks like lava coming out of it. Obviously, like not actively, but like you have that volcano thing over there, and then like right below it, it looks, as best as I can see, it looks like there's maybe a lava flow down between those trees, maybe. Not sure. I don't know if I've been to that one. I actually can't really identify any of these because every time I see them from a different angle and they don't look the same as what I'm expecting. So I don't know. I have no idea if I've been there or not. Doesn't look familiar though. And that general direction doesn't seem like an area that I would have explored, but I'm not sure. I haven't actually explored that much in this area. I mean, I've done maybe 5 or 6 of these high points, but there is a lot left to do around here. I can't even say how many things I have marked on my to-do list. It's literally in the thousands at this point. I'm not even joking. So more than I could do in a lifetime, I think. And that's just in my immediate area, really. It's just, maybe 100-mile radius or something like that. I don't know exactly. I'm marking things like even farther away than that, just in case I get a chance to go on some longer road trips. But just around here, there's a crazy number of things. Okay, so I'm going to do my little Bible reading here. It's about as good of a view as I think I'm going to get in this area. And I need to remember to go back up to the top and mark wherever I think the summit is. In fact, I might do that first because I feel like I'm going to forget to do that. So before I get set up totally, I think it's just like right back behind me where the summit is likely to be. I don't have any instruments to like measure the altitude or anything like that. It's just if you hike as much as I do, or just you don't have to be experienced. You go to a place and you try to keep walking uphill, and once you can't walk uphill anymore, you've reached the summit. And you can kind of just visually see. It's like your brain knows what's higher and what's lower to some degree. Once you're up really close to the top, it's a little bit hard to get an exact location on the summit, but I just kind of get as close as I can. So let's go back up this way. Hopefully I don't forget where my bag is. I just left my bag and my tripod back there because I think that's where I want to do the Bible reading live stream thing. But let's find the summit first. I think this will be a fairly quick hike, relatively speaking. So I feel like it's a good chance I can do another one after this. That tree has a blue thing around it. I've noticed some of these are marked, some have orange, some have blue, some have both. I'm guessing that means that they're either protected and you can't cut them down, and so they're marked, or they are marked because they need to come down, or whatever. I have no idea. I've never worked in the forestry service, so I don't know the meaning of the marks. Actually, there's almost a view up here too. I'm getting really close to the summit and I can kind of see between the trees, but I think it's better back where I was. A little bit of minor bushwhacking, but so far it's not that bad. I feel like the summit is either right there in that bushes, that area is kind of tall right around that tree, or possibly over by this tree it's a little bit taller too. Sometimes it feels like a little bit subjective because trees don't count. Rocks count. Like if you find a rock that's taller than everything else and you climb that, that's the summit. But not trees, not bushes. It's the actual ground. But the funny thing is, like around the trees, there's always kind of a higher area because all the pine needles falling down and building up over the years. So often, I suppose the technical summit is right around a tree in that sense. But we're pretty close. I feel good enough about marking where I'm at. I don't feel the need to like go over there. It's literally like less than 20 feet away. So we'll just call this the summit right around here somewhere. All right, so let me mark that on my map, and then I'll go back down to where my stuff is. Video will go out. That's actually pretty much exactly where I had it marked. I usually look at the LiDAR map and contour map and try to estimate where I think the summit is. And this is pretty much where I have it, so. Okay, good enough. Or is it? Yeah, it's good enough. It's not higher anywhere else. Somewhere in the middle of these bushes probably is the actual summit, and it's so ridiculously close to where I'm at that I'm satisfied. Okay, let's go back, see if we can find my stuff. A little spider on my face. I was like, what is that? Okay. Oh, I forgot what we're reading. I think it's either 1 Kings chapter 9 or 2 Kings. I can't remember. I have to look at my list. I don't think I need my shade umbrella in here. It's pretty well shaded already. It's one less thing I have to do. It's always hard to find a spot to balance my gimbal thing. I'd like to get a better mini tripod for my gimbal, something that's really good quality, metal but light, and really wide base footprint, whatever, to it. Because the one I have is plastic and it's kind of flimsy, so I can't really put my gimbal down with the phone on it and feel secure. Okay, it's not the most scenic spot ever, but it's kind of the most scenic spot on this hill, so at least as far as I can find. The thing is, if I don't like super thoroughly explore these places, I could be missing out on some amazing view. And that's part of the reason I like to go back to places that I've already been, because sometimes I do explore a little differently and find something amazing. There's like eras of my exploration skills and ways of doing things. Like I used to be not as thorough as I am now. So although what I used to do actually in some ways was more thorough, because I would try to walk down every path that I encountered. I was like obsessed with completionist type mentality, like, oh, there's a trail, I gotta walk on it. And I still like doing that. I want to do that, but I'm more interested in going to entire new places. So the whole exploring every trail thing is kind of fallen by the wayside in favor of that. Okay, so let me check. What's the easiest way to check what my reading is here. First Kings 9, okay. It's kind of what I thought, but just want to make sure. Okay. Signal here isn't as good as it was like on the way up, but it's still decent. Good enough. Actually, it's as I stand here and don't move the camera around it, it gets better. Okay. First Kings number 9. I need to take a big drink after this too. Okay, so which tree? I need to figure out where I need to stand to be in the picture. Maybe I'll stand right. I don't know if I want to stand under that tree. I'll stand like right over there with not clearing, I guess. Get a couple pictures over here first and then do the reading. There could be some spots like further down around that have even more clear views, but this is probably about as good as it gets on this particular hill. Kind of want to get a lens protector for this phone. All right, let's do it. So we're going to read 1 Kings chapter 9. Let me say a prayer. Please forgive me. I'm not going to take my hat off when I pray just for, well, I guess I can do it. It's not that big of a deal. But I don't take my bandana off. It's too hard to put it back on. The Bible does talk about head coverings. I'm not legalistic about it at all. Like I wear hats to church even. I usually just try to take it off when I'm praying is all. Because I feel like that's what it's talking about, is praying and prophesying. It doesn't just say, don't wear hats. So anyway, yeah, let's pray and then read. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for all the fun adventures I've been able to go on. Thanks for keeping me safe and in a positive attitude. Pray again for my brother Max, that you would just bless him and encourage him, help him to not feel lonely or abandoned in any way. That he's the last of his kind on earth. I kind of know that general feeling. And I just, if he's feeling any of that, my heart goes out to him. And just today is probably a hard day for him. Please encourage him, be with him so that he senses your presence and doesn't feel alone or sad. And again, pray that you would bring friends and family, new family into his life, if you're willing. Give him a rich and full life, as long as he has in your plan. All his days are written in your book. Pray for everybody else as well that's watching this stream or sees it later. You would bless them and show them your love. Show them that you actually care, that you exist, that you're seeking them actively. Help them to learn how to listen and to see what it's like, so that they don't miss when you're seeking them. May your Holy Spirit change hearts across the world. including mine. Help me to resist evil and be a good example and speak your word boldly. And help me to say it clearly as I read right now. And thank you for all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so 1 Kings chapter 9. Now, when Solomon had finished building the house of the Lord and the royal palace, and had achieved all that he had desired to do, the Lord appeared to him a second time, as he had appeared to him at Gibeon. And the Lord said to him, I have heard your prayer and petition before me. I have consecrated this temple you have built by putting my name there forever. My eyes and my heart will be there for all time. And as for you, if you walk before me as your father David walked, with a heart of integrity and uprightness, doing all I have commanded you, and if you keep my statutes and ordinances, then I will establish your royal throne over Israel forever, as I promised your father David, when I said, You will never fail to have a man on the throne of Israel. But if indeed you or your sons turn away from following me, and do not keep the commandments and statutes I have set before you, and if you go off to serve and worship other gods, then I will cut off Israel from the land that I have given them, and I will banish from my presence this temple I have sanctified for my name. Then Israel will become an object of scorn and ridicule among all peoples. And when this temple has become a heap of rubble, all who pass by it will be appalled and will hiss and say, Why has the Lord done such a thing to this land and to this temple? And others will answer, Because they have forsaken the Lord their God, who brought their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and have embraced other gods, worshiping and serving them. Because of this, the Lord has brought all this disaster upon them. Now at the end of the 20 years during which Solomon built these two houses, the house of the Lord and the royal palace, King Solomon gave 20 towns in the land of Galilee to Hiram, king of Tyre, who had supplied him with cedar and cypress logs and gold for his every desire. So Hiram went out from Tyre to inspect the towns that Solomon had given him, but he was not pleased with them. What are these towns you have given me, my brother? Asked Hiram, and he called them the land of Kabul, as they are called to this day. And Hiram had sent the king 120 talents of gold. This is the account of the forced labor that King Solomon imposed to build the house of the Lord, his own palace, the supporting terraces, and the wall of Jerusalem, as well as Hazor, Megiddo, and Gezer. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, had attacked and captured Gezer. He had set it on fire, killed the Canaanites who lived in the city, and given it as a dowry to his daughter, Solomon's wife. So Solomon rebuilt Gezer, Lower Beth Horon, Baalath, and Tamar in the wilderness of Judah, as well as all the store cities that Solomon had for his chariots and horses, whatever he desired to build in Jerusalem, Lebanon, and throughout the land of his dominion. As for all the people who remained of the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, the people who were not Israelites, their descendants who remained in the land, those whom the Israelites were unable to devote to destruction, Solomon conscripted these people to be forced laborers as they are to this day. But Solomon did not consign any of the Israelites to slavery, because they were his men of war, his servants, his officers, his captains, and the commanders of his chariots and cavalry. They were also the chief officers over Solomon's projects, 550 supervisors over the people who did the work. As soon as Pharaoh's daughter had come up from the city of David to the palace that Solomon had built for her, he built the supporting terraces. 3 times a year Solomon offered burnt offerings and peace offerings on the altar he had built for the Lord, burning incense with them before the Lord. So he completed the temple. King Solomon also assembled a fleet of ships at Ezion-Geber, which is near Elath in Edom, on the shore of the Red Sea. And Hiram sent his servants, men who knew the sea, to serve in the fleet with Solomon's servants. They sailed to Ophir and imported gold from there, 420 talents, and delivered it to Solomon. All right, that is 1 Kings chapter 9. So I just heard thunder. I don't know if that came across on my little lapel mic, but I can't tell which direction it's coming, if it's coming this way or blowing over somewhere else, but hopefully it's not coming over here. I didn't bring my rain jacket, and I don't really like being out in thunder anyway, but we'll see. I suppose if it gets crazy all of a sudden, I could either seek temporary shelter or decide that it's time to end for the day. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'd like to do more today if I can. Anyway, yeah, let's get packed up over here. I might stream the whole experience on this one as long as everything's still working right. I can just go back down the other side where I was already headed. It looks like a dark cloud, but kind of small, so whatever it is, it probably will pass kind of quickly, but maybe not actually. Maybe it's just peeking over the hill and it's bigger than it looks. Don't know yet. I think it is kind of coming this way, which is annoying. And try to get packed up as quickly as I can and head down the other side of this hill and just assess once I get back to the car what I'm gonna do. I could just sit in the car if it's kind of gonna pass quickly and then head back out if it's gone. It's probably my basic plan at this point. I might not be able to get back to the car before it overtakes me, though. It looks like it's kind of moving this way. Yeah, now it sounds like it's almost right above me. It's definitely getting closer, so I need to try to get down quickly if I can. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can find that trail again, because it seemed like it was following the ridge, just like up one side and down the other. A lot of these hills take the form of like a croissant or a crescent. So you kind of go up one side and down the other to get the more gradual approach. If you go up the back side, you'll get like a way steeper experience. But I usually try to follow the ridge. This makes it easier. Let's see, I don't recall exactly where I cut through to get to this point, but I'm going to generally go this way because this is kind of where the ridge is. Actually, I think think I just found the trail. All right. So I believe I was going this way, so I'll just keep going this way. Yeah, that's pretty dark over there. It might be more than just a small passing cloud. There was no rain or anything in the forecast, but literally that means nothing in this area. Especially since they don't have forecasts for like every square inch of the map. They like have one in some town that's 50 miles away or just whatever. They don't have pinpoint locations like this, so, and even if they did, I don't think they'd be that accurate. They just don't seem to know as much as they think they do, or at least as much as they have to pretend to know to keep their jobs. Yeah, there's a big old cloud over there. That's probably a better view over here. Should have, well, I mean, I shouldn't say I should have done anything. I didn't know what I was going to find. Never do. So if you see a good spot, got to take the opportunity. But this is probably a better view over here, possibly. Nice clearing under the trees anyway. Could like pitch a tent here. Yeah, the wind is picking up too. Can definitely tell something's coming in. All right, well, let me just keep on that trail. I think over this way is actually where the ridge is. So let me check my map, because I might prefer to go on the ridge rather than the trail, but probably stick on the trail. Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm just gonna stay on the trail this time, and then if I ever come back here, I can make a decision about exploring some different route. I think that over there where I was seeing that kind of a clearing in view is actually where the ridge is. I think this is technically going down the back steep side of the croissant, if you want to call it that. So, but it is a trail, and I like to explore trails too, so it's good. Wow, it's steep back here though. Looks like a completely different hill coming down this way, because the way I came up, it was so gradual that it didn't really feel like much of anything. But now that I'm seeing the backside of it, it's a significant drop back here. I have no idea if this will spit me out in a good place. There's probably some cool views along here too. As far as like where I parked and stuff, I'll probably have to check the map and figure out a way to circumnavigate the base of this thing and back to where I parked. I don't really know where I'm at this point without looking at the map. I think I'm actually heading back toward where I parked at this point, but if this keeps switching back or something, like doing switchbacks back and forth, then I'm not sure where I will end up. But yeah, there's some nice little views peeking through the trees. That's that same volcano-ish thing I was pointing at from back where I was reading. Looks like if you pick the right spot, like right down here, for example, there might be another view that's even more open. Oh, the signal is terrible. Okay. I need to just keep going. Either see if I can get a better signal down here or just end the stream because it's pretty awful right here. Must have got low enough that I'm blocking the line of sight to the cell tower, which is often the case. Oh, it just got better. Famous. It's always like that. Just when I think it's getting terrible, it just gets better, or vice versa. All right, we'll keep going until it completely dies out again, and then I'll probably end the stream because I don't know that there's much to see other than I like complete hiking adventures, like the entire route. If I can get good enough signal, I'll do the whole thing. That way I have kind of a record or memory of all the different places I've been, and I don't know, it's fun. Fun to do as much of it as I can. I'm not really like a short form live streamer, long play. It's a nice area. I just hope that thunderstorm started before we had some fires in the state, and just different places in the state. But I was really close to some houses. I was watching or reading updates on it. I was like, oh no, I hope those people are okay. I'm always scared that one's gonna start like right next to me, and I was like, oh no, all of my things that I care about are gone. It's amazing how hard the firefighters work, though. I can't even imagine what that's like. This is a cool trail. I'm glad I stayed on the trail. Like, it would have been fun to go all the way around the crescent shape, but it probably would have been less interesting because it would have been super gradual, just like the way I came up. But this is more like a legit trail, like a hiking experience. I don't know, whatever. I don't really care so much anymore. I used to, before I got into bushwhacking, this would have been my jam, and I still enjoy it a lot. But now I've been doing so much bushwhacking all the time, that's kind of my default mindset. I forget that there's actually trails out there. The thing is, none of this stuff that I do is on all trails. Literally, pretty much none of it. Very few of them are on there, but the vast majority are not. It's mainly because they're so far from civilization and sort of dangerous to try to get to if you don't have a decent car. So there's all these dirt bike trails that people have carved down here, which is complete insanity because it's crazy steep. But I'm just going to stay on this main trail. It's kind of washed out right here, but just have to get through this little bit, and then looks like it gets better there. But right here is kind of bad. Could easily slip and slide. All right, well, I don't hear any more thunder. I still see some dark clouds over there, but I don't know if it already sort of passed by or if that's just round one of many to come. Oh yeah, it's like really slanted, like here's straight and it's like that, so I have to walk really carefully so I don't slide down the hill. It wouldn't be like catastrophic if I slipped here. I would just, at worst fall over a little bit, but it's likely just kind of slide down, keep on my feet. It's not that dangerous or anything. It could be dangerous for an older person. Like I try to be really sensitive when I take people on hikes, not to take them on weird stuff, because for me it's easy, no challenge. But for like my mom and dad and stuff, I don't think I would take them on something like this. It's just too rough. Much less like all my bushwhacking stuff that I do all the time. I would never take them on most of that stuff. So I have a lot of choices here. There's a lot of these. Oh, my phone is overheating. Let's see. I'm not too surprised either. I should probably take the charging cord off just for a while because I think that also heats it up considerably. It'll drain it down a little bit, but it's better to keep it from overheating. So I guess I have to get my other phone out for a chat. Not that there's anybody here, but just in case. Yeah, so I don't know if I should cut down there because I could get down to the base of this thing where it levels out if I just went down one of these carved crazy trails, but I feel like I'm still on what would be considered the main trail, and I think I'll just play it out and see where it goes. There's another decent view there. It's not really going down though, it's just cutting across, kind of going up and down as it follows the contours a bit. So I'm pretty sure I'm going all the way back around the crescent shape to essentially I'll be pretty close to where I started. Whereas if I went down the other gradual ridge of the crescent, it would have been kind of on the opposite side, but we'll find out, I guess. It looks like there's trails down there, like that brown ground area is probably more of these, like the trail I'm on. But not sure. I'm just gonna keep heading this way. Hopefully it doesn't just endlessly loop around this mountain thing. Kind of trying to head back at this point, not like up again, which oddly it's going up suddenly. Let me check the map. This is weird. Let's see where I'm at. Okay, yeah, I'll keep going this way. I think it'll eventually get me back to where I started, approximately. Oh, well, I don't know what to do here. There's a trail that goes up that way, which I feel like that's like going back to where I was when I was first ascending this thing. So I think there's another one that goes off this direction. I think I'll take this one. None of these are on any maps because they're not really trails, honestly. They're just, I don't know. I mean, they are trails, but they're not like sanctioned trails by any committee or any forestry division or whatever. It's just like people cutting their own paths when they come up here and have their adventures. Now it's just kind of a maze of confusing trails, but I'm still going to go down this way because I kind of want to get down to the base, because I think down at the base of this there's probably like a perimeter trail that will get me down back around the side where I started. If I was in my completionist mode back there where I had that intersection, I would have marked that and said trail to the, I don't say left or right because that's subjective. I usually say like northeast or southeast or whatever direction it is. And that way I can come back another time and explore all the other trails if I see fit to do so. But I don't know, a place like this, I feel like it's just endless because people are just making up trails as they go. That's not really, like I said, they're not really trails. This one's pretty legit though. It's definitely, as you can see, it has a massive rut in the middle of it, so it's guaranteed used by dirt bikes. Possibly mountain bikes too, but I think it's more motorized things. You'd have to be pretty stinking dedicated to come all the way out here on a dirt bike. So yeah, here's another like split in the trail. There's one that goes that way and one that goes this way. This one feels like the main branch, and I want to try to go left generally because that's where I parked. So we got another option right here. Constant branching trails. This one like looks like it cuts out to like almost a major road or something out there. I don't know if that road is on a map, but right out there is like this thing cuts through here, and then looks like there's a big road or something going across. So I could take that, but I guess I'll check it. And then there's this one, which is more like the carved continuation of what I'm on, probably. Let me check the map again. Yeah, that's a road out there. I'm so close to the road, I think I'll take it. Might mark this though. Oh shoot, I put it in the wrong category. I'll be back in a second. I have to move some stuff around here. My map app. Here we go. I mean, I'm tempted to take that carving trail around because it probably will get me back also, but since I know for sure the road does, I'll just take that. I don't know. I kind of want to take the carved dirt bike trail. Just I would regret it if it suddenly like veered off in a weird direction that is not where I want to go because I know where this road goes. Okay, back to known locations. I actually always know where I'm at because I have GPS stuff, but when I'm on those trails that aren't on the map, I don't know which direction they're going to turn. Or if they'll go through, or just dead end somewhere. So this turns out to be a long video because of all this stuff I didn't realize I was going to do. See, I think there's like a four-way intersection here. Not sure, but I think I might turn left here. I'm going to check my map again so I don't waste any time going the wrong way. Yeah, I think I turned left. I actually drove down this road earlier to get to where I parked, so we're in a good spot. Okay. So yeah, turn left. It should get us back to where I started. That's crazy how good the signal is here, though. Like usually when I'm down lower in the valleys, kind of in between the high points, I don't get a good signal because it's like the signal is getting blocked up higher somewhere. It doesn't saturate down. But I guess I'm so close to where that cell tower was from the last stream that it's pretty well connecting everything out here. It makes it look like I'm in the middle of the city or something because the signal's so good that like even if you're walking in a downtown area, you might not get as good of a signal as this is. But it's funny, like you might think, oh wow, your area has amazing cell coverage. It's actually not really. It's just I know generally what areas to go to try to live stream. There's some areas where I wouldn't even bring my gear. I would just go for a hike and not worry about recording it because I know there's no signal. And unfortunately, some of the most amazing, beautiful, scenic, touristy areas, whatever, some of those have no signal, so I can't really show some of the best stuff. Okay, we are getting close. I probably could have used my second phone as the video phone on this hike. As I mentioned several videos ago, my new phone is a 5G phone, which I've kind of avoided getting those because I live in a massively underpopulated area, and I don't think there is any 5G out here much at all, if any. And I don't know how 5G works, but I don't know, like, I'm concerned that if I get a 5G phone, it won't connect to the 4G as well as an actual normal 4G phone. I have no idea how that works, but I'm just turning over here because I saw these boulders, or these rocks, I guess. Just curious what that's all about. Kind of random. I mark it just for fun. I mark all the rocks and boulders that I find. It's kind of a hobby of mine, just to mark them on the map just for fun. So let's find the highest one in this little group and mark it on the map. All right, there we go. Oh, I forgot to mark it complete. I like to change the color on the map so I know I've been there and blah, blah, blah. Let me do that real quick. I also need to mark that tall one. Just color code everything. Like things I've marked that I haven't been to, I just have it certain color, and then once I've gone there, I change the color so I can at a glance see where to go that I haven't been yet. Oh, this is fun though. I like this. It's more like an actual hike. I haven't done many hikes recently, so it's kind of refreshing, just something different. If I had like unlimited time and like money for gas and stuff, I would be out every day doing stuff like this constantly. But I'm very limited what I can do. So I discovered as I was driving through this way, discovered this giant clearing here. It's like a huge, you could have like 30 tents out here. I think, like I was saying, I think this whole area is kind of set up for off-road vehicle exploration and adventures. Might not be official, but It's about as close as it gets without being official. And maybe it's not even all that well known, but some people know about it. And I bet some people come out here and use this as their staging area. Bring their pickups and offload their dirt bikes and whatever. Make this their base camp and just explore from here, which would be a blast. I would love doing that if I had a dirt bike. And I've thought about getting one someday because there's certain places that it's not really, I don't know, wise or logical to go in a full-size vehicle, but you could still get there on a dirt bike if you had a decent sized gas tank, because it's pretty far to get out to some of these places. But I've thought about that for a while. A couple of years I was actually looking into dirt bikes and just seeing how much they cost and how many miles you can get out of those tanks and stuff. But I don't know, it's not in my reality right now, and I don't know if I'll ever do it. So I'm pretty happy just with hiking, and I do have just a regular non-electric mountain bike that I go out on sometimes. I have thought about like driving out to these places with my mountain bike in the back of my car and just pulling that out and exploring the roads that way instead of just driving on them. So I might do more of that someday. One of my completionist hobbies is to mark every road and trail by going on it so that I have GPS tracks filling the map of all the different roads and notes about it and stuff. There's another random pile of boulders over there. Should I explore it? I feel like I should because I'm right here. But it doesn't really count if I drive down a road, so I don't mark them as complete or even put the GPS tracks on my map unless it's either done by walking it, like hiking, or on my mountain bike. So that's why I thought about like just driving out with my bike in the back and then pulling it out and there's a chipmunk. And riding around on the trails just so I can mark them as complete. It's kind of a weird hobby, but it's fun for me. I like it. Exploring every road. I feel like if you just drive down a road, you really don't fully appreciate everything. You don't take it in entirely. But if you walk it, or to a slightly lesser extent, ride your bike, you see stuff and then you stop and take pictures, and you just, like, your brain absorbs more of the experience than if you're just driving across. And anyone that's lived in a city and kind of explored the city knows what I'm talking about. Like, you can drive the same route every day to work, for example. You don't even notice stuff, but then if you walk down that same street, you're like, whoa, what's all this stuff? Like that house, that flower, that business, I've never seen it before, even though you've driven that way hundreds of times. Okay, let's mark a couple boulders here. He's like, this is my house. What are you doing here? Don't worry, I won't stay long. Stare down. See who wins. All right. Let's mark a couple points. if I use the dedicated app for my video thing for the live stream, it actually would not shut the video off when I switch apps. But I'm using a web browser, so when it loses focus, it kills the stream or the video part of it anyway. Here's another boulder. It's actually pretty big, really. Way bigger than that first one I stopped at. It's kind of a cave under there for small animals anyway. There's a million spider webs in the opening of that cavern or whatever you call it. Cavity. I feel like if I don't step on these rocks right, I could actually cave that in, which would be dangerous. But I want to get to the top. So we're going to go right here. Pretty cool, actually. Yeah, it's a long stream. I don't even know how long I've been streaming, but it's just, I know it's been a long time. I'm glad though. Like, I don't really care if this is definitely not the highlight of my day. As far as the other places I went were way more amazing views and stuff, but I've just enjoyed this adventure. I need to get a huge drink of water though. My throat is pretty dry. I'm almost back to the car though. There's the boulders. And that right there, that slanted ground is where essentially where I went up on one side of the crescent-shaped thing, and probably I don't necessarily see anything from this vantage point, but probably that trail, that carved trail, would have cut across here somewhere. The one that I chose not to take and I opted to come out to the road, it would have been in there somewhere, and it probably would have taken me back to the same place, maybe even cutting the corner a bit. But I just decided to take the road because I knew where it was going. There's another kind of hill right over there. It's not huge or anything. Some hills I just don't explore. Like, they kind of have to have a certain quality to them. Like some hills are so gradual that they are nothing more than like a mound essentially. Like you get to the top and it's like, oh, yay, I just gained like 20 feet of elevation or something. Or it's also like how pokey they are, kind of. I know it sounds weird, but like if it's too gradual, then it doesn't really feel like you're going up something. But even if it's very small in diameter, if it's super abrupt change in elevation, like the contour lines are very close together, I usually explore it because it's usually some kind of rocky boulder thing. But if it's kind of gradual, contour lines are pretty far apart, then oftentimes I don't really explore everything like that because there's just so much of that. I sort of have to pick and choose which things will be the more interesting ones. But that one right there is pretty big. It's big enough that I could see myself exploring that someday. I actually see a giant rock up there that is sort of calling my name, but I'm not in that completionist mode today. I mean, I guess I am a little bit because I explored those random boulders, but not. I'm able to say no, basically. I see something, it's like, nah. I'll skip that for today. Well, I don't see any trace of that thunderstorm, so it must have disappeared or passed over. So what that means to me, as long as I get a huge drink, and maybe even a little snack, I might do another adventure, because there's plenty of daylight left. And I'm almost back to where I started. I need to plug my phone in though. It's losing charge because it was overheating, so I had to unplug it. I was a little bit worried it would do some bad stuff. You can see how rutted these roads are. It's not like any vehicle can come here easily. I think I could get here with just about any vehicle because I know how to ride the ruts and keep your tires and your center off the ground, all that stuff. But like these bumps are pretty brutal for low clearance cars. You can high center on those pretty easily. I remember and actually miss the days. I used to have a Super Beetle classic car. I love that car. I still wish I had one, and I'd like to get one again someday. It's just something about that car just makes me happy. It just feels like I don't know. I feel like that was my car from day one. Since I was young, I always wanted to have one. And when I had one, it just felt somehow like that was who I'm supposed to be, part of my character or something. Then I had to sell it. I mean, I didn't have to, but I did. I was kind of in the same situation I'm in now where I don't have any money. Anyway, it was fun though, while it lasted. They're getting more rare now. They're harder to track down for a reasonable price. It used to be very cheap. All right, well, I made it back to the car, so I think I'll end the stream and figure out where I'm going next or whatever. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I don't know if anybody's here, but even if there isn't, I enjoyed the time, so still still a good, worthwhile trip. All right, let me get this thing ended. Oops. All right, see you guys later. Probably do another hike today. If there's a signal, I'll live stream it, but if not, then who knows. But yeah, thanks for joining me.